Hello everyone, and welcome back to, finally welcome back to another Pink Floyd reaction on the channel. Now, I just quickly want to say, I am so sorry that it's been this long. I'm buzzing to get back to it. It's been a really long time since I listened to Wish You Were Here for the first time on the channel, and that was an amazing reaction. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and obviously it was a really special moment as well, in terms of just how fantastic that record is. So I am delighted to be back. Delighted to get into my third Pink Floyd album reaction at this point, and we're going in order from Dark Side of the Moon to Wish You Were Here and now to Animals. Now, Animals is an album that is quite bizarre looking to me in terms of the structure of it, if you will have a look over here. So it's 5 tracks, 41 minutes in length, right? Very similar to Wish You Were Here, but the intro and outro are both a minute long. Pigs on the Wing, 1 and 2. And then we have a 17-minute song, 11-minute song, and 10-minute song. Absolutely mental. It's like 3 huge magnum opus type tracks stuffed in the middle of 2 really short intros and outros. I'm so interested to kind of get a feel for the structure and see how it works. Obviously, dogs, pigs, and sheep are the names of the major tracks, and then Pigs on the Wing 1 and 2. Again, obviously the animal's called Animals. The album's called Animals, not the animal's called Animals. The album is called Animals, so obviously that's going to be sort of the theme of some sort. Again, I don't know anything about the concept apart from that, right? So I'm interested to see kind of what all this means. Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing to get stuck into this, and I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Thank you so much for being here as always, and without further ado, let's get stuck into Pink Floyd Animals. Track 1 is called Pigs on the Wing, Part 1, and we're going to get stuck straight into track number 2, which is Dogs after that. Now, obviously, if you are aware of this channel, I started off with Dark Side of the Moon with Pink Floyd and I yapped too much. So the plan here, just like it was with Wish You Were Here, is to talk minimally and kind of just let the experience wash over me. I hope you understand, and I hope that is the preferred reaction style for you. But without further ado, track 1, Pigs on the Wing 1, leading into track 2, Dogs. Oh, and I'm playing it through the wrong audio. There we go. Right, that helps. Right. And both headphones, because people killed me for that the last time.
If you didn't care, what happened to me?
It's a real calm sort of country feel to this track.
And I didn't care. But you,
The vocal style is a lot more playful as well.
we would zigzag away through the bottom of pain, occasionally glancing up through the rain, wondering which of the buggers to blame.
Yeah, this is better.
And watching for pigs on the wing.
Interesting. What a fascinating intro. Right. The lyrics are sorted. And now we go straight into Dogs. In fact, do you know what? I'm sorry to do this. I know people are going to kill me for this. I'm really sorry. But I want to read into what that meant. So, Pigs on the Wing Part 1, right? If you didn't care what happened to me and I didn't care for you, we would zigzag our way through the boredom and pain. This is a quote from a famous German philosopher. Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom. Yeah, I guess I get that. Interesting. Occasionally glancing up through the rain, wonder which of the buggers to blame and watching for pigs on the wing. That's peculiar. In fact, yeah, so this cover art, right? Again, I'm gonna have to, you know what? I'll pull up Spotify for this one, right? Because it shows it directly, right? So yeah, there's a pig in the middle of some sort of town. It kind of looks like Manchester or like Liverpool or something like that. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's just it's chilling there, I guess. It's weird, but there's a lot of like pollution going on. It's like a factory. The cover art's fascinating, and this explanation says the balloon pig attached to a string is set off into the sky. The pig was specifically designed for the album artwork itself. However, the helium-filled pig balloon got severed from its string and hence disappeared within a couple of minutes of its flight. Here they may be referring to watching the same pig, given it had wandered away from Battersea Power Station during the photo shoot, and hence the pig had gotten wings. Because it was flying away, right? Interesting. Quite abstract. This is different. And I'm really excited to see what direction this goes in, right? Let me pull this back to the start to kind of get a bigger feel for the intro. Very acoustic so far. Very, very acoustic. Like, in the intro of this track is acoustic guitar again. So interested to maybe hear if they go for a more stripped back sort of instrumental style here. Right. Wait, let me do that. Ooh, a little bit of synth in there. Just very quietly though. A lot louder that time.
Street, you got to be able to pick out the easy meat with your eyes closed. Then moving silently downwind and out of sight. You got to strike when the moment is right without thinking.
Damn.
So that when they turn their backs on you, you'll get the chance to pull the knife in. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
I wonder what it's referring to. I'm trying to get the annotations up, but they're not working. God, listen to this, man. Ah. This is stunning. Tempo's picking up. Wow. Oh, listen to the panning. Holy shit. God damn, bro. Holy shit. Punchy the instrumentation is. Whoa! Really screechy.
You'll reap the harvest you have sown. And as the fear grows, the bad blood slows and turns to stone.
Wow. This is an unbelievable instrumental experience. The variation here is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Wow. The lyrics are fascinating. God damn, we're nearly at the end of the lyrics for the song, and we've got 9 minutes left, or 8 minutes left. Wow. This feels so movie-like. It feels so epic. This is like an entrancing experience, man. You hear the dogs barking in the background. What do you even say, bro? Mind blowing. Wow. Holy shit. Bro, the synths it's so screechy. Listen to that. I mean, it's like the highest pitch possible, man. It's not, but it's close. They are masters at that mixture of synthesizers, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and how punchy the drums can be. Perfect mixture of everything. Like I say, here comes back the acoustic.
That I'm a little bit confused. Sometimes it seems to me as if I'm just being used. Gotta stay awake, gotta try and shake off this creeping malaise. If I don't stand my own ground, how can I find my way out of this maze? Deaf, dumb, and blind. You just keep on pretending that everyone's expendable.
Wow, it's got a real bounce to it, this part.
Everyone has a real friend. It seems to you the thing to do would be to isolate the winner. Everything's done under the sun. And you believe at heart everyone's a
Final guitar solo to end of this masterpiece of a song. Why do I feel like I've heard this? This specific guitar solo. Maybe it's just the same as the one before or similar or something, I don't know. It's really tripped me out. I feel like I've heard that before. Wow. I'm really glad there's no transition because I have to pause. Holy fucking shit. That was unbelievable. That is one of the coolest musical pieces I've ever listened to in my entire life. What the fuck? I mean, right. Instrumental obviously has to come first, right? Because there's 3 guitar solos in there. They're all fucking incredible. There was some synth solos in there as well that I feel like didn't get like mentioned on Genius just because I guess the focal point of it is the guitars, right? There was some great synth work in there as well throughout the whole track, really. Loved the acoustics. Really set a great bass. For, you know, the instrumental to kind of grow off of. The drums at certain points when it really picked up as well became really punchy. At the end of the track there, when Roger comes in, it becomes so massive. It's so grand that, you know, the drums pick up so much, all the kind of percussion, insane amounts of sounds kind of just enveloping the ears, creating such a grand end to the 17-minute track. Now, obviously, the whole kind of point of there being so much space with the instrumental is to kind of create a feeling more than just, you know, just reading lyrics, and that kind of gives you the feeling for the track, right? But this track is fascinating lyrically, and I think it really is summed up very well throughout this outro, because so many links to kind of the, you know, essentially the meaning of the track is that, you know, the humans, the kind of regular working men, the regular working class people are the dogs of society, right? They're treated like dogs by the kind of higher ups, the government, the people in control, which is obviously a very fair point. And it's explained in a million different ways, and I think this part is probably the most interesting part. This, and I'll say the line before it as well, because who was trained not to spit in the fan? Spitting in a fan will shoot back at you, but it's the only way to learn for yourself why it's a bad idea, right? Essentially, we're being taught to not take risks, which then leads to really, what's the word, like monotonous? Is that the word I'm looking for? Like repetitive, mundane, boring lifestyles, right? that we don't actually want to live, and therefore we become miserable doing that. That is a huge issue in terms of the way that people have been brought up in this country specifically. Now, obviously, England and Scotland, there are some differences there, 100%. We have our own education system, we have our own government control and that sort of stuff, but there is definitely some similarities, of course. It is natural when we are right next door. There's 100% a huge issue in this country, and I'm talking Scotland specifically here because that is my experience, of people with absolutely zero ambition, and I believe that's due to the way that they're brought up, not just by parents but by the system in general. A lot of people that don't really have dreams or ambitions or want to get anywhere. There's not any people, or definitely not any. I would say I'm one person that is trying to chase his dream on a daily basis, right? Taking mad sacrifices for that. It's something I'm really, really proud of. But there's so many people in this country that would look at me as probably being silly for doing that. Oh, well, why would you not just, take your 25 grand a year and take your regular office job, being stuck on the phones and stuff like that? Fuck that, man. I get, listen, people have to do those jobs, and that is, important in itself. And you know what? Some people really enjoy doing those jobs, and good for them. But for somebody like me, who's quite a creative mind that wants to, spend time, dissecting art and just doing something, essentially covering stuff that I love so much. That to me is the meaning of life, man. To understand what you want to do, to know the things that you want to achieve, to know the things that truly bring you happiness in the world, and to then branch out and try your best to make those things that you love into a living, to make sure that you can do what you adore every day. That is, to me, the meaning of being here. That's why life is so beautiful, that we can all be our own different people and pursue what we want to do and really just, try to achieve the dream life. I think it is amazing that we can all do that, and especially in the modern day, it's a lot easier. Obviously, look at this situation right here. It's a lot easier to do that in this day and age, which is a really beautiful thing. Unfortunately, the mindset of people in this country, unfortunately, kind of builds into like a negative, we grew up in a shitty situation or whatever, or maybe it wasn't the best, or we didn't have that much money or whatever. That just means that I just can't be successful, that I can't branch out of that I'll just spend the rest of my life doing a job that's boring. Oh, but at least I'll have my weekends to go out to the pub and get steaming drunk and all that. It's absolutely fucked. The mentality is so backwards, and my family is definitely a part of that. There are people in my family, my direct family, who kind of just think everybody hates their job, and that's just the way it is, and you should just expect to just do that. That is so bad. It's so fucked. But anyway, kind of went off on a tangent there. But anyway, the latter part of this verse actually goes on to speak about that, because who was found dead on the phone? Who was dragged down by the stone? Right. This is a direct reference to a play which depicts the people who are the salesmen, who are just doing your average job, right? Your salesman job. The people who are the dogs of society, right? Who spend half their life on the phones trying to sell things that don't even mean anything to them. They're just selling things for somebody else above them who makes more money than them. And eventually they die in vain anyway, without actually having achieved anything, and die a really sad death, whilst essentially wasting half of their life doing something that is absolutely meaningless to them. This is a fucking tremendous theme, and I'm so glad that it's been tackled. I can't believe that this was talked about in 1977, and yet it still goes on, and is still a major factor in like England, Scotland. Pretty much it will be everywhere in the modern day in 2025. That's a real sad situation. And yeah, I'm really glad that I've heard this, because I love the fact that this has been tackled. Something that means a lot to me. So yeah, I really do appreciate that. Overall, I mean, the track does dive into a million different kind of ideas, kind of like how the I thought the kind of the lyrics on the second part of this verse are fascinating. The fact that it's like a kind of dog eat dog world in a way, where the dogs are the kind of the working men, the working class society, right? End up kind of getting dragged into tough situations, and therefore almost become, you know, angry and become the barking dogs, right? And then there's violence, and then there's people being arrested, put in prison. Then that cycle begins. Essentially, the dog, the working class man, the regular man or whatever, ends up, you know, having conflict against other people of that same ilk because they're angry, because they're, you know, they need something to take out their frustration and stuff like that. It's I could go on for a million years about the lyrics of this track. This is a fucking amazing song. 17 minutes of pure and utter peak music. Delighted that I've just experienced that. And yeah, I'm delighted to now go on to track 3, which is called Pigs. 3 different ones. I mean, I guess that might be a direct reference to the 3 Little Pigs, right? Let me see. Perhaps, but maybe not. Maybe not, considering it's... there you are. The song's title is also a nod to the fairy tale of the 3 Little Pigs, right? But it looks like it might be a little bit deeper than that. So let's see what this track's about. Track 3 is called Pigs. Let's go. There we are. Pigs. Now, I think we all know what pigs can refer to in terms of people, right? I mean, we can use it. People around here use it as for police. I don't think that's what they're going to talk about here, but... This is beautiful so far. Oh my god! That bass layered on top of the guitar. Fucking hell. Woo! It's really anthemic synths, bro. Holy shit. Yeah. That's really interesting. The pigs are the businessmen. The job's worth pretty much. God, this has got a real funk to it. One of the funkiest Pink Floyd songs I've ever heard. Rat bag. Ho ho ho! If he is going at Maggie Thatcher, that is fucking hilarious.
You really ain't cold, shaft to with a hatpin, a good suit with a handgun. You're nearly alive. You're nearly alive, but you really will cry.
Wow. This is fucking unbelievable. If they really did just criticise Maggie Thatcher there, that is fire. Fuck Maggie Thatcher. Hope she's rotten. I mean, she is rotten. She'll be a skeleton at this point. What is that noise? That was really cool. Holy shit. Jesus. Crazy. This is crazy. The bass has been such a pivotal part to this track. Back to kind of the start of the track where we had this build up. Love it. Woo. White House is in. Oh. Yeah. Got it.
yours. You got to stem the evil tide.
Oh, wow.
And keep it on the inside. Bury you nearly a tree. Bury you nearly a tree, but you really a cry.
Wow. This is really interesting. I had no idea about any of this. I really want to see what this line means. Holy shit. Wow. Interesting, they've kind of stepped out of the transition mode for this album. I guess because they want all the tracks to tackle separate things, right? Oh wait, never mind, that's a perfect transition into Sheep. Fucking, I'm an idiot. Right, I'm going to pause, I have to. It will be a quick pause though, because I don't have too much to say, apart from unbelievable, yet again. And the lyrical content, obviously the pigs now, I understand, refer to kind of, well, three different ones. The first one kind of being the businessman who would kind of put money over human connection, right? They're the first pig. Any businessman who's more interested in making money than they are in having relationships with other human beings, which might be more rewarding than accumulating wealth. 100% true. Understood. That's the first pig. Agree with that. Second one, Maggie Thatcher, apparently. Love that. Very cool that he would kind of be ballsy enough to make a statement against who at the time was a huge political figure. I can imagine that would have been incredibly controversial at the time of this album's release, but knowing obviously how massively popular Pink Floyd were, still are, but at that time they would have been massive. Yeah, that is a massive thing, and that is really cool that specifically, I believe it's Roger, right? Love that they would, and he would take that risk to get across what he believes in. Love that. And then the third one is this woman called Mary Whitehouse, who apparently was a Tory activist who was like apparently trying to get the kind of any sort of sexual stuff or any sort of like gay stuff, right, like homosexual stuff, away from Britain. She was trying to remove all of that because the moral standards had changed and all that. The fucking dinosaur ass shit, which obviously this was the 70s, so I get it, but it's obviously wrong. And yeah, the kind of, this is probably like early homophobia, right, which I guess everybody in this time period was like skeptical towards that. However, I don't think anybody was like outright rejecting it, right? So obviously the kind of conservatives at this time would have been doing that, because it's kind of that right wing stuff. And I think it's really, really amazing that Roger would step out and kind of attack her, kind of outright disagree with her. That's really, really cool. Again, a man who stands on what he believes in, and really goes at it full throttle. I think that is fantastic that he would do this. I wonder what, like, any form of violence, I'm assuming that means, like, even, like, legal stuff like combat sports, right? Which, if she was trying to remove violence from Britain in any form, if she was trying to remove, like, boxing and stuff like that, then she's a fucking idiot. I don't know the details, obviously, but you know, she doesn't seem like the greatest person. Doesn't seem like I would like her. But yeah, that was a great track that really went in depth and kind of was unforgiving in the stuff that Roger was talking about. So really appreciated that. And again, the instrumental was just stunning, out of this world. Right, let's get into track 4. It's called Sheep, and then we'll let that roll into the final track, which is Pigs on the Wing 2. Let's go. This sounds beautiful. Oh, they're going to talk about, like, sheep, as in, like, people that kind of just follow the herd, right? Good, because they're probably my least favourite people on earth. I fucking hate people that are sheep. Do not like it at all. Wow. This is therapeutic, this part of the song. Almost got caught in a daydream there. Holy shit! Jordan's in the country. Yeah. this is quite stunning. What a brilliant way to kind of attack this idea. Sheep getting led into a slaughter, right? It happens all the time. It's kind of the way that people do it, because they just follow the herd. That's what they do naturally. Very much applies to humanity in real life as well, especially right now. A lot of people do just blindly, you know, follow ideas and ideologies that end up harming them. Wow, the drum breaks, holy shit. Stunning. Whoa. Didn't expect a Daft Punk feature on a 70s Pink Floyd album. Robotic ass voice. This is one of the coolest concepts for a song I've ever seen. Let's wrap this up by getting into Pigs on the Wing 2 and then I'll talk. There we go, back to the acoustics of the first track, of course.
You know that I care. What happens to you? And I know that you care. For me too. So I don't feel alone on the way to the stone. Now that I've found somewhere safe to bury my bone. And any fool knows a dog needs a home. A shelter from pigs on the wing.
And that's it. Pink Floyd, Animals. What an unbelievable experience. I'm actually quite dazed from it. Because Sheep was stunning. Just to quickly kind of discuss it. We have this kind of massive depiction of the idea of sheep in society, right? The people who will just blindly follow. The people who will, hear an idea that maybe they like and they just latch onto it and they just follow whoever it is that may be, getting across this idea. This is how politicians manipulate people. This is how a lot of people in general get manipulated, right? And sheep, end up, battling because they're following an idea that they're being, essentially fed, right? They're being led to believe in something by whoever it is that they're following. And that leads to conflict most of the time because, again, they're being manipulated to believe in something that other people will perhaps disagree with. Ends up in a battle as is depicted in the third verse. And then the kind of chorus wraps it up with essentially the rebelling people, right? Which are the sheep in a way, right? The sheep end up becoming the dogs. The sheep end up becoming the people that are essentially being dogged by society, right? That are being controlled and manipulated by society. That society are doing wrong, and the kind of sheep end up becoming dogs, but also dogs who are essentially just being controlled by the people above, and the sheep who essentially don't end up revolting, right? The sheep who kind of, I guess, stay true to themselves, end up alive, but everybody else is essentially the new dogs, right? The people who have taken a different kind of outlook on life and have kind of moved into being controlled by the government and stuff like that. They've essentially lost their comrades as their comrades have become the dogs, and therefore they end up just getting oppressed by the new dogs because you know, the people that have died, and the kind of bloodshed, the conflict that's happened, has kind of made them scared, and therefore, you know, you better stay home, you better do as you're told, so that you can live a longer life. Essentially, the dogs oppressing the sheep. I think it's an absolutely unbelievable way to depict this whole thing, to talk about the kind of way that conflict can appear in this world, and kind of the way that certain people, certain humans will react to that, how they'll change, and how they will essentially just submit. And the people that submit end up being obviously the way that they change, and that they end up becoming the people that kind of look down upon the sheep. The sheep end up being the ones that really suffer, just because they sort of blindly followed an ideology that they had, or maybe had been fed, or maybe it's just in modern day you would have to say kind of like a friend group, right? Kind of just following what your friends are doing, you end up in bother, right? Happens to kids all the time, happens to people my age all the time as well. You know, whether it be following maybe something that your mum or dad believes in, right? And that kind of changes who you are as a person into something that is maybe non-desirable, which is why obviously having a good raising is really important. In general, the idea of being a sheep is a terrible thing, and you must think for yourself. You must grow up with your own intelligence and your own experiences and learning from them. So important, and I think that's depicted very, very well in the track. I think overall this album was amazing, a great sort of grand depiction of issues that Roger and the rest of them believe are really important. I think the songs were written brilliantly. I think the way that they tackled some of these issues were really, really cool. And I think this album thematically is going to live a long time, because a lot of the stuff they discuss is still very, very prevalent in terms of the issues today. And that's just the reality of the world we live in. What a tremendous album. Tremendous stuff. Thank you so much for joining me on this reaction. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts in the comments about your enjoyment of this album, what you think about the themes, maybe what you would rank in terms of the 3 albums that I've listened to now. Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and Animals. Rank 3 of them. I will personally rank them right now. I believe that, right, in terms of listenability, in terms of what I will listen to the most, it will probably be Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and then Animals, I think. Just because, like, the 17-minute tracks, stuff like that. It's a lot easier for me to put on, say, like, the title track from Wish You Were Here, for example, right? However, in terms of, musical enjoyability on first listen, I would probably go I'll probably go Wish You Were Here, maybe Animals, and then Dark Side of the Moon. That sounds like a crazy thing, but I've grown to love listening to Dark Side of the Moon more often, like on more listens, right? I've listened to it maybe 7-8 times at this point. But on first listen, I don't think, in terms of like the stuff that was being talked about and stuff, I was as blown away as I was by this. I might be wrong, maybe it's just recency bias, right? But yeah, I think the concepts here are just so much more poignant. They're put across so much stronger, and I think I really, really like that. But overall, they're all a masterpiece. Every single one of them, tremendous albums. Rank them if you can in the comments down below. I would love to know your thoughts on that. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the reaction, like I said. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next one, which I promise will not be in 2 months. It will be a lot sooner than that, for another Pink Floyd album reaction. Thank you so much. Take care, and bye for now.